in hard-to-staff and hustle areas. This is very encouraging. And we must thank the President of the Republic of Kenya for having seen it wise to come up with a very viable education charter. Yes.
And in fact, you preempted my question, which was certainly about that education charter.
I'm a teacher. I can preempt so many questions.
I see.
Yes.
I see. And you're doing a great job on that.
Yes.
All right. So even aside from some of these issues that we've talked about, as we continue with the deliberations in the conference today and tomorrow as well, of course, you're speaking to the members of the union and the teachers across the country.
That's right.
Talk to us about some of these other challenges that we are not aware of, the teachers are facing and are hoping that they can be able, you as a union can be able to, address, and perhaps the national government can be able to take heed. Yeah.
Now, basically, the first issue to be addressed, much as maybe we talk about the country going through some, some hard stretch economically, teachers need proper remuneration. And I like the way His Excellency the President and the Deputy addresses matters that affect teachers. It is not even in what they address, but the passion with which they address these matters should really be appreciated. One time the Deputy President did say it, that you cannot compensate a teacher. And that is true. And he narrated from where he came to the position he is in now, and how teachers really took care of him, So no single government globally is able to pay teachers a salary commensurate to the work that a teacher does. Yeah, a teacher works 24/7. I want to tell you, this is the only profession where one can tell, even as we speak now, teachers are headed for some, break for December, after closing schools. We don't call that holidays. We are never in holidays. We even prepare for what we shall teach in the month of February. And we have it. The rest of the term, the first term, a teacher does a schemes of work from where he or she shall extract a lesson plan. And this goes to up to even a whole term. You can do it for a whole year. We are different even from doctors. And, a doctor will treat a patient out of what he or she can see. But a teacher prepares for a learner, even several months, several weeks before he gets into class. So it is a duty, it is a call. What we do cannot be compensated, just as the Deputy President did say. Nobody can compensate a teacher.
Right.
Yes. So our challenges are enormous. Right from salaries and, environment where we teach, which of course we call for, conducive environment. In a case where there is insecurity, the government should come in and assist us. Yes, I'm happy. The challenges actually went even into the policies that came in. The policy of delocalization was not acceptable even to the union itself. Because one, it is separated families. I'm happy Teacher Service Commission has heeded to that right from our deliberations from Naivasha and even from the call on the floor of the House that delocalization should stop. So such policies actually were not, compatible at all with what we actually do as teachers.
Right.
Yes.
Even with that, there have been concerns that parents, I believe you're a parent as well, that parents end up leaving all the work to the teachers, all the work that I'm going to send my child to school and you do everything, teaching them morals, teaching them everything to do with academics. Do you think that parents should be able to come into the education sector and be part of, helping our young learners to be able to become better people?
Precisely. Let alone young learners, even learners that you consider old. Parents should actually engage themselves in the learning of their children. That is why CBC has a lot in terms of parental engagement. Yes. Now, looking at chaos that we had in schools, the infernos and the rest of it, we went out to do, some research. 8 out of 10 you know, ringleaders in strikes in secondary schools, boarding secondary schools, came from boarding primary schools. What does that mean? A lot of parental care was not there. The discipline of your child should not be left in the hands of the teacher alone. That parental attachment is very, very important.
Right.
Talk to your child. You know your child better. You get? And when schools were burning after, you know, the long holiday of COVID-19, we told parents, we must blame you for this. You had close to 9 months with your children. As they were coming back to school after the 9 months, it is not the children or the learners we released to go home in the first month and came back in the 9th month. They were totally different people. Some came back as parents, some totally indisciplined. But these parents had to, you know, extend to teachers and say, there's something I've seen in my daughter, in my son. Can you take care as a teacher? You get? So basically, the idea of parental engagement is very important for a learner. Yes.
All right.
Help us shape your child. And that is why, even if you have preempted your question about primary boarding schools,
Right.
personally, and the Kenya National Union of Teachers support the proposal of the government
Right.
to abolish private, I mean not private, but boarding schools.
For primary schools.
For primary schools.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Because by extension, even public day schools are getting into boarding. Go to class 8s and class 7s that were there in the past
Right.
in the past 1 year. Some have extended into boarding. Why? It is basically competition. And as they are there, they forget about, the parents forget about these children. Because they've gone to boarding, they are now the business of the teachers in boarding schools. So I think in advance I've answered your question. Whether you have it, I don't know.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Bona Secretary General, we're going to take a very short break,
Yes.
but we'll continue the conversation in a short while. We're coming to you live from the Royal City Hotel here in Kisumu County, where the Kenya National Union Teachers 62nd Annual Delegates Conference is happening. We're going to take a very short break. We will continue with Bona Collins Ayu in just a moment. Stay with us.
NTV, turning on your world.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup will see the best footballers on the planet do battle. Morocco cruised through qualifying, but can the Atlas Lions carry that form to Qatar? Karim Benzema's return to the national setup makes champions France even stronger. And Rodrigo is ready for a breakout tournament with Brazil. The clock is ticking on the countdown to Qatar.
Crystal Rivers Residences, the future of fine living.
In your paper this week, Kagame, Tshisekedi using M23 to delay polls. The Rwandan president suggests his DR Congo counterpart holds the peace in its eastern region, but chooses to blame Kigali. Guns go silent in Addis Tigray conflict. Money. East Africa community states miss targets for single currency. Plus our opinion leaders. O Dodoma, the little town with the ridiculously grandiose Ikulu. LC Eyakuze. Will the real peacemaker and political stabilizer please stand up? Charles Onyango Obo. Magazine. The Gomesi, Uganda's symbol of respect and dignity. For these and more stories, get your copy of the East African.
Tell me, what is it? I thought everything was ready. The wedding, the honeymoon, what else did we miss?
Where we're going to live, for example.
Oh.
I spoke to your mother, but I don't want to be a bother to her. I really don't want to live in someone else's home. Maybe for a while, but not forever. And well, I don't see any interest on your part for us to live on our own.
Lorenza, please, don't be childish.
I am just telling you that I'm aware it was you who actually ruined all my dates.
No, that's not true. I saved you from adultery, and this is work-related. So how do I look? Don't you think I look so debonair?
Yes, so debonair. From the 50s.
It had to be you.
Crystal Rivers Residences, the future of fine living.
Just 17 months ago, Spain made a run to the semi-finals at Euro 2020, heightening expectations ahead of the 2022 World Cup. That Spain failed to meet those expectations has brought disappointment and the exit of manager Luis Enrique. Just 17 months ago, that seemed so unlikely. But, alas, is now the reality.
Go is about thriving, reaching for the stars. It's about exploring new ideas, securely and safely, from the palm of your hands. It's go time with M-Pesa Go.
NTV, turning on your world.
All right, well, thank you for staying with us. We're continuing with the conversation with the Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General, Bwana Collins Oyu. Thank you so much for staying with us. We are coming to you live from Kisumu, where the Kenya National Union Teachers Annual Delegates Conference is happening, at least for 2 days, today being the first day. Now, just to get back to Bwana Collins, one of the other issues that I think I raised a bit earlier on, it is with regards to the recruitment of teachers. And by the way, just today, I told you the Teacher Service Commission spoke in Parliament, and what we do understand is that the TSC says that it seeks to promote teachers in about 15,000 positions, right? So I want to get your view on the same as a union, and also clarifying that the move to promote the tutors was due to a number of issues and others, you know, I mean, joining politics, others who've died, and that the compressed school calendar affected the process, but they will be doing that as soon as as soon as they advertise and start the process of promoting the teachers immediately after the examinations.
Thank you so much. It's true that Teacher Service Commission has taken quite some time before promoting our teachers. And I want to categorically point out the positions in leadership, that is deputies and heads. Quite a number of deputy head teachers are still on acting capacity. And you know, you cannot act for over 6 months. But due to pressure known to Teacher Service Commission, our deputies have acted for over even 2-3 years. And even our head teachers, some of them are managing schools in acting capacity. I think this is what Teacher Service Commission is making reference to. These teachers have to be promoted. You cannot, you know, run a school on acting capacity. You know, if SRC comes in with job evaluation, you are doing the same work that is being done by a head teacher on a position that is confirmed. So if you are acting, and you're not earning the salary for, you know, a confirmed head teacher, and the job is the same, I think it is very unfair. So we had pushed this to Teacher Service Commission to have our heads and deputies in institutions promoted. Then I'm glad if they confirm over 15,000 teachers to be promoted, that is in line with what we actually demanded.
I've seen in part of what you hope to discuss during this conference is the fact that in the 2016-2021 CBA, there was a shift in policy in terms of the promotion from academic qualification to the issue of appraisals. Now, you are against that. Are we still using the same process?
Yeah, Teacher Service Commission uses the promotion based on, you know, CPG.
Right.
While we had, you know, banked a lot of hope in SOS, that is schemes of service, where you can be promoted based on your qualifications. That is why many teachers went back to class. And it was an initial demand by Teacher Service Commission.
So they went and sought
Yeah,
more
they went and studied so that a P1 teacher became a graduate and, you know, got promoted to job group K.
Right.
Now, much later with the CPG, upon 2017, 2021 CBA,
right,
that was scraped off. So we went back to career progression guidelines that does not honor qualifications of one based on, you know, what you actually achieved in terms of a higher certificate. So it is painful. And we have quite a number of teachers who had graduated earlier on, but by 2014, February, they were not promoted. That promotion stopped. You get?
Right.
So we still insist that this has to be relooked upon. Because I cannot spend, you know, I cannot deny myself a lot to acquire a higher certificate. Then it is just rubbish. It is under my pillow and maybe mattress. It doesn't serve right.
Right.
So let us give what is actually deserved by these teachers because they took time to proceed and further their education.
All right.
So we are still pushing for that.
And this is just one of the challenges that you know, you're speaking to the members of the union,
Yes.
who are the teachers and are raising these issues.
Yeah.
As a union, how do you seek to address not just this, some of the other challenges as well?
Yeah, all of them, not even some.
Right.
All the challenges that affect teachers have to be addressed on a negotiating table. And that is why it is very wrong to rub shoulders the wrong way with the employer. You must create some harmony that will give you room to talk about issues affecting teachers. If one party is on that end and they are on this end, remember right now, who is actually ready to go for strikes? Okay? We cannot just imagine that whenever issues are there, we go to the roads and carry twigs and so on. We must be able to present ourselves on a table with the employer and have these issues sorted out. Just what used to happen before. You remember the times of Adonga there? We achieved a lot as a union. Teachers achieved a lot. But the number of strikes were minimal. You know, a strike is our last bullet. When we call a strike, let it be. We must fire that last bullet. Okay? Not only fire, but fire to the target. But we are not interested in that. We are much, much more interested in sitting on a round table, agreeing with Teacher Service Commission, the employer, to have issues of teachers addressed. I've talked about promotions. Teachers are lagging behind here in promotions.
You earlier said that
Yes.
there is some sort of cordial relationship
Right,
right now with the
right,
Teacher Service Commission.
right.
So are there plans to have structured talks with the TSC to address these issues?
We have started. You know, it is not an event. It is a process. So we have started. And it started last year in Naivasha. We have, you know, issues that we have presented up to and including promotions. So we are pushing forward to have ourselves, and that is the secretariat in the commission and the board in the commission to address these issues. Yes.
And what do we hope to achieve at the very end of this conference, which is tomorrow?
Well, our teachers in the conference, or teacher leaders in the conference, have to make, you know, resolutions that will actually push us to face Teacher Service Commission, because it is not my voice now. It shall be the voice of all teachers in the 110 branches of this republic. And that is why we have conferences. Each and every conference must have resolutions, and pertinent resolutions. Yes. Going forward, we have to present the same. It is not our voice.
Right.
It is the voice of all teachers in the republic.
All right.
Yes.
As we move forward, I think one of the other issues that have recently been cropping up is the issue of mental health for teachers as well.
Right.
We have had cases of teachers among, you know, those that have lost their lives by suicide as well. Just give us an idea of how the union perhaps wants to or wishes to work around this issue of creating a better environment for teachers so that their mental health is also catered for.
Yeah, it is a very sorry state to have teachers commit suicide because of stress and other surrounding issues that can be sorted out. Mental health, as I speak now, is an issue that we are addressing as a union. And we have actually come up with wellness centers to address this. And even as we are trying to address it, teachers' state must be improved. The environment in which teachers serve must be improved. Remuneration of teachers is key to sort out these issues. Yeah. And finally, when you see our teachers go out there to commit suicide, part of it is because of the workload. Employment of more teachers shall reduce the workload, okay? Commensurate pay to what these administrators do shall reduce the workload. And that shall be very important to work on their mental health. And I want to tell you, sorry to say so, most of our teachers, you know, when we went to school, and biology, as you are taught, food is medicine. I hope you agree with that. Food is medicine. But our teachers cannot access food, and they eat medicine as food. Medicine as food. I want to state clearly, most of these teachers, and especially heads, given the workload, some of them are on, you know, pressure drugs, they are on diabetic drugs. So every morning, every evening, a teacher has to take drugs. And that is what causes them extent, you know, to what they are supposed to do as teachers, which is very unfortunate.
Right.
So that stress is just there for teachers every other time. Due to teacher shortage, and I want to thank the President once more, this number of teachers are going to be employed. Should we reach the target of 116,000 in the 2 years as proposed, the better for us in terms of sorting out the workload. When we went to England the other year, the issue of workload among us teachers was very key. You know, a teacher gets to class, gets to school, and start working immediately before even getting to class. Where does that one happen? A teacher is at work even as he or she walks around, because your working style is even being copied by the learners. Your behavior is being copied away from the actual work in the classroom. A teacher has a very big workload, and that one has actually pushed us to mental illness. You get into depression, some of them commit suicide. Yeah, we have quite a number who have committed suicide after informing us that if this does not happen, I'll commit suicide.
That the situation was difficult.
Difficult for the teacher to manage. So some of these issues can be sorted out, and I'm happy. The employment of more teachers has actually started sorting out this.
We're also alive to the challenges we're facing, not just as a country, but globally as well when it comes to climate change. I think one of the issues I believe you also be speaking about is on how, as a union, as teachers, can be able to contribute, and as stakeholders in this country, to addressing the climate change crisis that we are facing right now, and that's why we're seeing the drought situation in the country.
That's right.
What are you perhaps hoping to do as a union?
Now, I must say that this is part of what we shall be addressing tomorrow.
All right.
How to get into the climate change as a serious topic globally. You know, the structures that we have takes us down to the roots. And I think the lowest level in this case is the classroom, which is actually found in a school. We have proposed as a union to give a hand through our branches to have a donation and supervision of tree planting in our schools, which of course, if done and supervised by the learners, I mean, done and supervised by teachers through learners, I think we'll have, you know, a remarkable success. We cannot be left behind. We know what drought has actually caused, and more so in these hard-stricken drought regions. So it is an issue that we cannot stand aside and just watch. Kenya National Union of Teachers shall seek approval of delegates tomorrow to have ourselves involved in tree planting for climate change.
And I think we used to see that before happening. This was, even when I was in school, we were told that, you know, at the end of your 8 years in primary school, at least you must have planted one single tree.
Right.
But that was not cast anywhere within any policy or document. So perhaps this will be interesting to see how that will pan out.
Yeah, in fact, we are running it out, and our proposal is even to have 100 trees per school in 3 months. Yeah. So that shall actually translate to how many trees in a whole year.
And it would perhaps even fall under the national tree planting exercise that the government is hoping to achieve.
Yes, in a nutshell, what I'm saying,
right.
Kenya National Union of Teachers is supportive to the initiative. And as was proposed by the President, we are going there full blast to support. And by action, yes. Spare something small, have it to our schools, through the branches, and let this be done. Yes. Look at school leavers who have actually opted to do nurseries for trees. They should be supported. And that is where we should actually get trees to plant.
Right.
Yes.
I want to get your opinion, just generally speaking, with regard, and apart from some of the proposals we've touched on coming from the Presidential Working Party on education reforms, the interim report there. I want to get your view as a union, how you're looking at this report and moving forward. Is it something that hopefully will be able to improve the education sector?
Definitely. You know, the implementation of CBC was to improve the education sector. And I want to say that we were supportive of CBC, away from the fact that time had not come for the implementation. Because basically, as you look at the 844 system compared to CBC, the knowledge-driven system, which was in 844, translated our schools into exam centers. Look at the big bags that were being carried by learners. If you look into those bags, half the bag are exams to be carried out in the whole week. So, in a nutshell, our schools were like examination centers. Examination for what shall not even benefit one after being condemned at class 8, for example. Yeah. You know, 844 condemned our learners in 3 stages: class 8, Form 4, and university. You miss it at class 8, you become a shamba boy or a maid. Yes. You miss it at Form 4, early marriage is there. You become a husband or, you know, a wife to somebody.
Which is not a bad thing. But
no, it is bad. It depends on stage. You know, what our young learners, the female learners, really lacked in the other system was progression. You just fail, you're done. And you fail an exam. I hope you know that CBC as it is, and even as was proposed by the Presidential Working Party, we shall very soon forget about secondary or primary. It shall all depend on the content delivered. That is why, even as we look at the terms as junior secondary and what have you, it doesn't make sense. Okay? You simply should go to the global trend of grade 1, maybe to grade 12. What matters is the content being delivered. This issue of, you know, primary and secondary will not work soon. Yeah. And I'm seeing the Presidential Party headed there. Yes. Because if we shall have our secondary school teachers into junior secondary, which of course are domiciled in primary schools, grades 7, 8, and 9, domiciled in primary schools. And you cross over to come and teach some of these subjects in junior secondary. Then what do you mean? Teaching in primary school, yet you are a secondary school teacher. We are actually headed to forgetting about placement and considering delivery, the content that is going to be delivered.
Are our teachers ready for this, at least what we're getting, you know, grades 7, 8, 9? Our teachers ready? Have they been retooled enough to ensure that they understand the CBC well?
Now, our primary school teachers have been retooled well. And I'm happy those who left college at P1 went back for, you know, to grading of diploma.
Yes.
And they're perfectly trained well to handle CBC classes. And, you know, teachers are, you know, retooling a teacher is not a very hard thing because essentially we are trained already. So basically, what is required for a particular stage, given retooling, we catch up very, very fast.
Right.
Because that is our job. Yes.
All right. Maybe just as we wind up, Bwana Collins, Mwalimu Collins, I must say, you know, we're heading towards the December festivities, and you know, teachers will be taking a break, learners will be taking a break. What is your message to the teachers who are watching you right now, even those who are not in the union?
I think I should not only have a message to teachers, I should also have a message to parents.
Of course.
Yes, yes. Now, first, I want our teachers, as we proceed into the year 2023 and ushering in junior secondary as proposed, let our teachers, you know, give in their whole. Teachers are really out to volunteer in what they do. I want to encourage them. The system has changed, as they know. We are getting full blast CBC into secondary. That is grade 7. Let us commit ourselves. You know, teaching is not an easy thing. But when you pick it from where no one taught like this man left it, and when I say that, this one person who did not teach, I mean, who taught, no one taught like him, is none other than Jesus Christ. Teaching is a call. Let us maintain the call and help nurture the young ones even as we proceed into the year 2023.
All right.
Let it be a total will and commitment. Our training had a lot about the will in you and the commitment in you to deliver to learners. And teaching is second to godliness. Let us appreciate the fact that after God the Creator, these learners are placed in our hands to make them be better citizens in any part of the Republic and the world at large. So I want to call upon our teachers. Commitment is key. We shall work for them, advocate for the better terms and conditions, as we know that they shall be committed. And for parents, as we proceed to the long holiday for the learners, let parents take care of their children. This is a very delicate time, December. I was in church today, okay, before I came here, praying with the delegates in preparation for tomorrow. The sermon was basically about Christmas. We enjoy Christmas, but we don't know why Christmas came about. So let us look at not the enjoyment, not the fun. Extend it to our children, but let us take care of these young learners. They are still very tender, right from PP1, even to secondary and university.
Right.
A learner is a learner. Yes.
So we must take care of them.
Let's take care.
Thank you so
Very
much.
important.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
Mwalimu Collins Oyu, the Kenya National Union of Teachers Secretary General here in Kisumu County for the Kenya National Union Teachers Annual Delegates Conference. That is the 62nd ADC happening here in Kisumu. And we're coming to you live from the Royal City Hotel. Thank you once again, Mwalimu. This is where we wind up our broadcast. My name is Zerbi Smile. Have yourself an enjoyable afternoon, and